Ferrari has spent 78 years. Ferrari has spent 78 years building the most powerful brand in automotive history. Every car they have ever made said one thing: we don't follow rules. We make them. But this week, Ferrari unveiled something that has shaken the entire car world. Not because it's impressive, but because it might be the biggest brand mistake a luxury car maker has ever made. This is the Ferrari Luce, Ferrari's first ever electric vehicle, and the internet is absolutely furious. But here's what nobody is talking about. This car was never made for Ferrari fans, and once you understand who it was made for, everything changes. Let's start with the basics. The Ferrari Luce, pronounced Luce, is Ferrari's first fully electric car. It has 4 doors, 5 seats, 1,113 horsepower, 4 electric motors, and can hit 60 miles per hour in just over 2 seconds. On paper, those numbers are extraordinary. A 330-mile range, a 122 kilowatt-hour battery, 350 kilowatt charging capability. This is a technical masterpiece by any measure. But the moment people saw it, the reaction was instant and brutal. Ferrari's stock dropped 8% in Milan the very next day, another 5% in New York. Analysts pointed directly at what they called design hate. Think about that for a second. A car with over 1,000 horsepower, built by one of the most legendary manufacturers in history, and the market punished them for how it looks. This is not just a car story. This is a business story, and it tells us something important about what happens when a brand loses its nerve. So what exactly went wrong? To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand what Ferrari actually sells. Ferrari doesn't sell cars. Ferrari sells identity. When someone buys a Ferrari, they are not buying transportation. They are buying what that car says about them. The sound, the aggression, the heritage, the exclusivity, the feeling that you are driving something no spreadsheet could ever fully justify. Ferrari has always understood this better than any other car company on Earth. It is why they deliberately limit production every single year. It is why there is a wait list for most models that stretches years into the future. It is why they have historically refused to make anything that dilutes what the badge means. Until now, the Luce is a 5-seater sedan. It is quiet by design. It has no combustion engine, no roar, no mechanical drama, no smell of fuel and heat that Ferrari drivers have chased for decades. And Lamborghini's CEO, watching Ferrari's launch from across the room, publicly said that canceling their own EV plans was absolutely the right decision. Let that land. A direct competitor used Ferrari's biggest launch in history as live evidence that going electric was a mistake. Ferrari's brand equity is worth billions. It is built on one promise: pure, visceral, mechanical performance. The Luce breaks that promise in the most visible way possible. But here's the question nobody is asking. Did Ferrari actually make a mistake? Or did they build this car on purpose, for someone else entirely? Here's the truth the headlines are missing. The Ferrari Luce was not made for Ferrari fans. It was made for 2 audiences: regulators and China. Let's talk about regulators first. Europe has some of the strictest emissions targets in the world. By 2035, the European Union plans to effectively ban the sale of new combustion engine vehicles. Ferrari, like every manufacturer selling in Europe, needs an electric vehicle in their lineup, or they face billions in fines and penalties. The Luce is Ferrari's compliance car, a calculated, necessary move to protect the rest of the business. But there is a second reason, a bigger one. China is now the largest luxury car market in the world, and Chinese consumers, particularly the ultra-wealthy, have shown a very clear and consistent preference. They want electric, they want technology, they want 4 doors and 5 seats, because status in China often means being driven, not driving. Ferrari looked at that market and did the math. a 5-seat electric sedan with over 1,000 horsepower, designed by the man who designed the iPhone. That is not a car for the hills of Maranello. That is a car built for the streets of Shanghai and Beijing. This is a calculated business decision dressed up as automotive revolution. And that gap between what it is and what Ferrari pretends it is, that is exactly why people are angry. Now let's talk about something that has been overlooked in almost every conversation about the Luce. Hiring Jony Ive to design a Ferrari was always going to be a problem. And here's why. Jony Ive is arguably the greatest product designer alive. The iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, the MacBook. He has shaped how billions of people interact with technology every single day. But Apple's design philosophy and Ferrari's design philosophy are opposites. Apple designs for simplicity, minimalism, removing everything that isn't essential until what remains feels inevitable. Clean lines, quiet confidence, approachability. Ferrari designs for provocation, aggression. Every angle is supposed to make you feel something visceral before you even touch the car. Ferraris are not supposed to look inevitable. They are supposed to look impossible. When you put Jony Ive in charge of a Ferrari, you get exactly what the Luce is. A beautifully minimal, quietly confident, approachable luxury object, which is the last thing a Ferrari should ever be. The problem was not Jony Ive's talent. The problem was that nobody asked whether his vision was compatible with what a Ferrari is supposed to feel like. And that is a leadership failure, not a design failure. Here is why this story matters beyond Ferrari. Every legacy luxury brand is facing the exact same impossible choice right now. Do you protect your brand identity and risk becoming irrelevant in the world's biggest and fastest growing markets? Or do you chase electric and risk alienating the customers who built your reputation over decades? Lamborghini chose identity. They canceled their EV program. Ferrari chose markets. They built the Luce. Porsche found a middle path with the Taycan. And it has largely worked because the Taycan still feels like a Porsche to drive. It kept the soul while changing the engine. Ferrari's problem is that the Luce does not feel like a Ferrari to look at. And in the luxury world, the feeling comes before everything else. Before the spec sheet. Before the price tag. Before you ever sit in the seat. The brands that will survive this transition are the ones that make electric feel like them. Not like a compromise they were forced to make. Ferrari has not done that yet. And the market responded accordingly. So where does Ferrari go from here? First, the stock drop does not mean the Luce will fail commercially. These are two different things. Ferrari's existing customers are furious. But Ferrari's target customer for the Luce is not their existing customer. It is a wealthy buyer in China or a European city who wants the Ferrari name but not the Ferrari driving experience. That market is real and it is large. If the Luce sells well in China, and there is a strong chance it will, Ferrari's revenue goes up even as their brand perception takes a hit in the West. The real danger is longer term. If a generation of young, aspirational car buyers starts to see Ferrari as just another luxury EV brand, if the badge loses its mythology, then the premium Ferrari charges for every other car in its lineup starts to erode. Ferrari's entire business model depends on people believing that a Ferrari is worth 3 to 5 times what a comparable car costs. The moment that belief weakens, everything gets harder. That is what is actually at stake here. Not one car, the entire mythology of a brand. Ferrari can recover from a controversial design. They have done it before. But they cannot recover from becoming ordinary. So here is the bottom line. Ferrari built a car that makes complete sense as a business decision, and almost no sense as a Ferrari. The Luce might sell well in China. It might satisfy European regulators. It might even be an extraordinary car to drive once people get behind the wheel. But right now, it has done something no Ferrari has ever done before. It has made people question whether Ferrari still knows who it is. And in the luxury car world, where identity is everything, that is the most dangerous question of all. The car industry is changing faster than at any point in the last 100 years. Who wins? Who loses? What it means for money, for brands, for the future of how we move. That is what this channel is about. Subscribe. Because next week we are going deep on how China quietly took over the global car industry and what nobody in the West wants to admit about it.